Hello everyone, welcome back to Flourish Road. And in this video, I'm going to be introducing to you variable and data type. Now, a variable is like a box or a memory location where we keep data, all right? While data types are the pattern with which we store data. All right, so we have different type of data type in Python, but I'll just be mentioning 5 to you right now. All right, now how do we know the types of data type? So data types in Python. Now, the first data type I want to talk to you about is integer. All right, so integers are like the numbers, they're actually positive or negative. All right, so integers, so when you're talking about 1, 8, 1000, 89, all these are integer number. These are integers. So whenever you see integers, whenever you see numbers, whole numbers, we're talking about integers. They can either be positive or negative. So they can either be minus 56, minus 100. These are type of integer. Sorry, I wrote integer. Now, the second type of data type that I want to talk to you about is called the floating point data type. Now, the floating point data type are the decimals. So when you're talking about 9.8, 8.9, sorry, 9.5, 8.9, anything that has to do with decimal numbers, these are floating points data type, or you can call them real data type, real numbers. And this one also can either be positive or negative. So we can have minus 8.9. We can also have minus 7.4. Now, all these are called what? Real numbers. Real numbers or floating points numbers. Floating points numbers. So we have integer, we have floating point number. Now the third data type I want to talk to you about is called what? The character. Yeah. So these are single character. Yeah, they are single character or symbols. All right. So how to declare character or symbols? You can actually declare one character like this, and then you put in what? Letter A. It can even be a number as long as it's one in that single quotation mark. That's what we call character. All right. This is a character. This is also a data type. That's car. So that's character. Now the next one is what? String data type. The string data type is when you want to represent your name or any text. Now you can actually use a quotation mark and then you write what? Mike. This is a string data type. Anything that is written in a double quotation mark is called a string. You can even put a number inside a string. This is a string. Although it's a number, but as long as it is written in a double quotation mark, it is called a string. All right. So we can also have what? School, something like that. As long as it is written in a double quotation mark, it is called a string. That's a string data type. And the last but not the least, is a string. The last but not the least is what? The Boolean. Yeah, the Boolean. These are true or false statement. They're either what? True or false. Now, all these I'll be introducing to you. I'll be using variables to explain all of this data type. Now, let's get started. Remember, I said a variable is like a box where we keep data, and each data would have a data type. It can either be integer, it can be real numbers, it can be character, it can be string, or it can be Boolean. All right, now let's declare a variable and assign to it a value. Now, let me say, for example, I want to declare my name. Now, because my name is a combination of character, that's a string. So I'll just do like this string and I'll call it what? Mike. Now this is a string data type stored in the variable called what? Name. And that is how to declare a variable and declare a value to a variable. So this is string data type stored in a variable called name. So another one is what? Let me say score. Score will be an integer because it's a value. It's a number. You don't have to put that in a quotation mark. All right. So that's also an integer. Our real numbers, let me say average score. Now this is a floating point number because it has to do with the decimal. It's a 9.9. That's a decimal, and that's why it's a floating point integer. Is a floating point number. Now the next one is what? The character type. The character type you can actually just declare. Let's say for example, my variable, and then I declare it to be character, just a single. So that's a character. And then the last but not the least is Boolean. So if I want to declare Boolean, I could just say let's just say for example logged in. Now that's what's true. So that's it. So I've been able to declare 5 variables and I assigned to them 5 different data types. This is string, this is integer, this is floating point, this is character, and this is Boolean. Now, how do we know the data type? How do we know this data type? To check the data type, you can actually use the print value to print out the data type. You can say what? Print. Remember, print is for outputting value, open and close brackets. And then you say what? Type. Now, this type means what? You're checking the data type for name. Now, let's see what it will print out. Let's save our work now. Remember to always save your work. Click on the run and then run model. Now, let's see what happens. You see? Now, it's telling us about this belongs to class what? String. It's telling you that that is a string. And actually check that. Pause the video and check that. Now, I want you to do the same for the rest of the variables. You can pause the video right now. Pause the video right now, and let's see what you come up with. All right, welcome back. If you did your work like this, you're correct. Now it shows that you are asking for the data type of score. Don't forget that score is actually a variable that contains what? 97. Right. So some of you might be asking that in the previous video, while I was printing, I printed something like this. I said print, and I open and close bracket, and I use a string. Now, the reason why I'm doing that is because print function always waits for any value to print out. So whenever we want to print out, it's returning a string. And that is why we have to use the string. But whenever you want to output whatever is inside an integer, or sorry, whatever is inside a variable, you don't have to put a string. Just type in the variable name like that, and it is going to output the variable name. So now let's check for the output of this, and then let's see what happens. So you have to save your work first, and then run it. So when you're ready, can you see? Now it's telling us that what? The first one is what? String. Can you see that? The second one is, oops, sorry about that. The second one is what? Is an integer. The third one is a float. Let's check the result again. Float. But now the fourth one is a string. Now let me tell you something. Python actually assumes that character and string are the same. But for other programming languages, character and string are quite different. A string is a combination of characters. So Python actually just classify them together as the same. Okay. Because of that, I'll just remove character. And then you can also declare string in Python with a single quotation and a character. So I hope I've been able to explain the different data type that we have in Python, and I've been able to explain what a variable is and how to check the type, the data type of the data in variable. In the next video, we're going to be solving problem using variables. Right? Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to comment in the comment section below, and then tell your friends about this lovely channel. And I am waiting for every of your questions. Right? I'll see you in the next video. Bye.